The men's 110-meter hurdles, the semi-finals. We had heats yesterday, so we've got the athletes had a first taste of the track here in Berlin. And there's the lineup for the first race. Parchment of Jamaica, the sub-13-second man, Shubenkov, multiple Russian records. There's Svoboda from the Czech Republic, to Oliveira of Brazil, Portilla of Cuba, Darian of France, Parchment, Jamaica, Shubenkov, Russia, Brathwaite, Barbados, Harris, United States, Carber, Canada. United States, of course, the country with the greatest tradition at sprint hurdling throughout the history of the sport, both at Olympic and world level. And they're represented very strongly here with Harris in this race in lane 8. So where they go, well, Parchment was pretty slowly away, so outside him Shubenkov much better, and so too Darian of France, and Harris of the USA has got a lot to do, but it's Shubenkov now coming through. Shubenkov wins it, Parchment in second place, and Darian in third. 13:09 the winning time. Well, we said Shubenkov was a big meeting competitor, and he certainly shone to come through to take that race.
Well, he did indeed, and he won it on the start. Hansel Parchment in lane number 5 here. Yes, you shake your head, young man. You're not going to be able to start like that in the final and get away with it. The Russian's so predictable because he normally does start well, and he did in the semi-final. Parchment was lucky, but good enough to come through in terms of qualifying. But no, it was a good effort by the Russian. 13:09 unofficially. We'll wait for confirmation.
He wins in 13:09 from Parchment 13:16. Those two to the final.
The second semi-final of the men's 110 hurdles. What a lineup here. Only 2 to go through as of right. And there's Pascal Martinot-Lagarde, Aries Merritt, the Olympic champion, and Omar McLeod of Jamaica. A lot of noise in the stadium, but they're away first time. Good start from Merritt. He's got the advantage. McLeod trying to close him down. Martinot-Lagarde is getting ever closer. Merritt's going to take this one. Merritt from McLeod, and Martinot-Lagarde will have to wait to see if he can go through as a fastest loser. Really high standard there from Aries Merritt, showing all his experience.
And he's getting quicker. A season's best of 13:08. Got into the US team, finished third, and he's been getting better ever since. He controlled the race. It was good running by Omar McLeod, the young Jamaican inside him, and Pascal Martinot-Lagarde as well. But the first two automatically, Merritt and McLeod. But Aries Merritt, of course, is a danger. He won that Olympic gold in London, and then within, 4 weeks of that, then snatched the world record at 12.80 seconds. Always a danger man, and he led that from start to finish.
Interesting fact, McLeod here from Jamaica, you watch, he hit every single hurdle in that race and still finished second. So he's got a lot of improvement, I think, in the final.
Merritt's been rounded down to 13:08, McLeod 13:14, and Martinot-Lagarde at the moment occupying a fastest loser spot. But that was really high standard there from Aries Merritt.
Coming now to the third and final semi-final. The lineup obviously including the great David Oliver there, defending world champion. Goes in lane 4. Away first time. Well, Basco got a great start, the Frenchman in the middle of the picture in the black there, but Oliver is coming hard now over those last 3 or 4 hurdles. Oliver is clear, Basco is in second place, and between maybe the German, Bula, getting third.
David Oliver, for me, the experienced man, 33 years old, but he's made changes this year. He's split with his long-term coach, Brooks Johnson, but says, I'm old enough and wise enough to know what I'm doing. But those two comfortably ahead, Steve, in that third semi-final, and good running by that Frenchman, and I think it confirms that the other Frenchman, Martineau Lagarde, will go through with 13.17, and also potentially Garfield Derrien, the other French athlete, with 13.25. I can see why the French are excited about these guys.
Yeah, all three of the Frenchmen will be in the final, and that's great for them. It hasn't been a sparkling World Championship for them so far. Their great favourite, Renaud Lavillenie, had to settle for bronze in the pole vault, but there's room for improvement here from David Oliver. Arguably not quite as impressive as Aries Merritt was in his qualification run, or perhaps Shabenkov in the first of the semis.
In this 110-metre hurdles with the likes of Martineau Lagarde, and 13.16 seconds, a personal best for the Frenchman.
Basco's time, 13.16. Oliver just a hundredth of a second behind in 13.17. There's the qualifying for the final of that 110-metre hurdles.
Well, the women's 200 metres now on track. The stadium really buzzing with some exceptional field event performances, which we'll show you soon. The semi-final of the women's 200 metres then. There are 3 semi-finals, as we usually have for most of the sprints, with the first 2 going through and another 2 on times progressing to the final. That will be later this evening. This is Elaine Thompson, member of the MVP track club, along with Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price. And this is the field. McGrone going there in lane 6 in this lineup of Thomas, Mihalinec, Thompson, Kambunji, McGrone, Williams, Ziabakina and Lalova. So away they go, and I'm looking particularly at Thompson off to a good start, and Kambunji and McGrone just outside her, and McGrone certainly running very well in the red vest of the USA, and it's McGrone who leads from Thompson with Kambunji, and these 3 getting well clear of the rest of the field. And this is Thompson and McGrone. Thompson coming through. Thompson going to win easily. Eases down, but a big margin really of McGrone. Lalova came up to take 3rd place ahead of Kambunji, and 22.13 despite easing down. That was very, very impressive by Thompson. That could so easily have been a sub-22 second time if she'd really pushed it, it seems to me, because McGrone was pretty much running all out, and yet Thompson did all the work round the bend, came into the home straight and was able to coast through to the finish.
See McGrone, the American, on the left, and you can see Kambunji trying to break her Swiss national record, which she does in 4th at 22.64. But that was superb running from the 23-year-old, absolutely super. She looked special in London at the Diamond League, the last Diamond League meeting coming into these World Championships. See McGrone dipping for the line, obviously to get a time and automatic qualifying, but that was very, very impressive.
Well, Thompson winning in 22.13 from McGrone, 22.26. And look at the depth of times. Lalova, 22.32, and the national records for the next 2 as well.
Here's the lineup for the second semi-final of the women's 200 metres. How fast can Daphne Schiffers go here? In a world-class race. Only 2 guaranteed to advance to what will be a thrilling final. They're cleanly away. Tarlou gets a good start. She's up onto the shoulder of Prandini. No move yet from Daphne Schiffers. Still the tiny powerhouse from the Ivory Coast. Now Schiffers beginning to come through on the inside. Schiffers from Tarlou. Prandini's got a little bit of work to do. Simpson coming through on the inside. Schiffers easing up on the line. Simpson outdips Tarlou for 2nd place, so the athlete from the Ivory Coast will have to wait to see if she can go through as a fastest loser. Well, if Elaine Thompson was impressive in the first semi-final, that was equally so from Daphne Schiffers. Great finish from Simpson to take the second spot, 22.36, and there's a lot more where that came from the young Dutch woman.
We saw her looking round at the finish, but her transition, which is the sweep in from the bend into the straight, was absolutely superb. You see, though, she looks left, she looks right. This is a World Championship semi-final, and she is absolutely easy. You see the girls behind her dipping for one of those automatic qualifying spots. Look, you look at the European top 10 of all time.
Daphne Schiffers was brilliant in that qualification, and surely she's capable of going under 22 seconds in that final. Schiffers takes it, Simpson out-dipping Tarlou on the line. The tiny powerhouse from the Ivory Coast will have to wait to see if that's good enough to go through as the fastest loser.
So we come to the third and final of the semi-finals of the women's 200 metres. And the great Veronica Campbell-Brown going in lane 4. Away at the moment, fairly cleanly. Campbell-Brown going well. Asher Smith also going well in the picture. Asher Smith, I think, is tearing around the straight on the outside. Tarmo of the United States. It's just Asher Smith at the moment, just slightly ahead of the American Tarmo. Asher Smith still looking very good, the Briton. She's actually going away now. Tarmo is in second place. Campbell-Brown is trying for third, but she's not going to get there. A great run from the young Brit. The winning time, 22.13. Well, I said she was one to look out for. And I think that's another personal best for her. A great run in the semi-finals, looking very, very good indeed.
She flew round the bend. She's the first British woman ever, Dina Asher-Smith, to run under 11 seconds, 10.99 seconds in that London Diamond League. Tamu outsider, a sub-11 second runner as well. But look at the people behind the 19-year-old, Jen Batabo in lane number 6 and Veronica Campbell-Brown. Extremely impressive from Dina Asher-Smith and so relaxed with it. Great Britain have only ever had 2 finalists in the World Championships, Kathy Cook and Emily Freeman, and Cook took bronze. Can Dina Asher-Smith potentially do the same?
And now we have the women's 800 meters, 3 semi-finals. So here's the women just getting ready for that first one. First 2 in each, 2 more on times to the semi-finals. So the first heat, women's 800 meters, 2 to go through to the final. So fascinating to see how this one will be run. Martinez in 7. Buchel has also shown her credentials this year. And Buchel looks to have gone off pretty hard in the red vest there of Switzerland. Steve?
Yeah, Buchel's gone off hard. Lupo coming across the track now. And on the inside there, Jennifer Meadows coming through for Great Britain. So they've gone off hard. Let's see what the 200 metres is. Coming through to it about now. It's about 28 or 28. It's 56 pace if they keep that going. And it looks as if Buchel's trying to do just that. She's not easing off. Meadows just behind her, Lupo in 3rd, and then Semenya in 4th.
Yeah, that's the order. Buchel pushing it hard around this first lap, but she has been in very impressive form this year. And she's strong. And Meadows, who likes to front run herself, being tracked by Lupu. Coleman just taking a little closer order. The German now coming up into 3rd. Big gap now back to Semenya, who's fading a bit, with Arafi and Martinez behind her. 58.68 first lap.
Yeah, that's good. But not only is it good, but she's working hard too, Buchel. She's not slowing down. And in fact, she's moving away. They're going to have to start reacting to this because this sort of woman is capable of running all the way at this sort of pace. Meadows just behind, struggling a little bit now, as you see Coleman of Germany come past. These two maybe are the 1 and 2 to go through by right, but the others are challenging.
Well, Semenya right at the back of the field. There's something like 15, 20 metres now between first and last, and Buchel so strong, 1:28.6 at 600 metres. But now look at the way Coleman's coming up too. Just too short to go through. And this is a big finish here.
It's Lupu coming hard on the outside,
Coleman
Peter.
on the outside, in the inside rather. It is indeed. But Buchel's still strong, being challenged by Lupu. Lupu just edging ahead maybe, but fighting back on the inside. Buchel, and look at the finish of Arafi as well. Oh, almost line abreast. I think Arafi got it from Lupu, and Buchel shaded back into third place there.
Well, the drama there is that Selina Buchel, who's been brilliant this season, will now have to wait to see if she goes through as the fastest loser. She'll be comfortably inside 2 minutes.
But here's that finish, and the driving finish from Arafi takes her to a personal best and a win there in 1:58.55. Lupu 1:58.57. Buchel 1:58.63. Coleman 1:59.42.
Another race absolutely loaded with talent. Rosemary Almanza is the second fastest athlete in the world this year from Cuba. Renelle Lameau has had a cracking season, the Frenchwoman. So the pace in the first semi-final was brutal. Only the first two guaranteed to advance. And even the fastest losers have got to run inside 1:59 plus change if they're to stand any chance. Looks as though
it's Lameau at the moment taking them through fast, Rob. So we're going to see the time around about the 200-metre mark. I think it's going to be a little bit faster than the first heat. They really are running hard. 47.48.
Yes, 27.48. So they're on course for a quicker first lap. Lameau, the Frenchwoman, has everybody queuing up on her shoulder. And Almanza wide on the outside, the Cuban. Beckwith Ludlow, she's got herself in the right position to cover any breaks. So Lameau is first, Beckwith Ludlow in second place. Oscan Clark tucked in on the inside, and Almanza, the fastest in the field on paper, on the outside, 58.5. Now the burn-up will begin.
Well, it's fast. They've got to keep it going, though. That previous heat was run, the third 200 was run pretty fast as well. So if they can keep this rhythm going, this is going to be another very fast semi-final.
Well,
Lameau is really pouring it on down the back straight. She's got to keep herself ahead of this chase group right now after all this work.
So, Lameau has led from start, but will she still be there at the finish? She's driving on. Almanza is beginning to go backwards here. Remember, she's the second fastest athlete in the world this year. Now she's trying to come wide on the outside. Good run from Benson, the Canadian, and also the Ukrainian Lakova trying to come on the outside. Almanza's going backwards. Lameau, Oscan Clark trying to find a way through on the inside. Lyakova coming wide. It's a mirror finish from the first semi-final. Is there going to be a dip? Oscan Clark takes it. Lameau in second, and Lyakova, well, she is in the mix for a fastest loser spot, and once again, a top quality semi-final. All the first three, well inside 2 minutes. The final's going to be some tear-up.
Third semi-final now underway. The lineup again is loaded, really, and you'd expect it. There's Yunus Sum, the defending champion, going in 5. Also one of the very good favourites, Sifan Hassan, goes in 6. Asamova there. And Lindsay Sharp, perhaps the only person to beat Yunus Sum some time back, though, in 2014 in Brussels. Since then, Yunus Sum's been unbeaten all through this season. It looks as if Lindsay Sharp has gone off hard just on the inside of Sum, but Sum now striding out, stretching everybody out, in fact. Yunus Sum has decided that it's going to be a fast race, and luckily Lindsay Sharp has decided to go with her. The others have got a lot of catching up to do just to the 200-metre mark.
Well, what a declaration of intent from the defending champion. Now they begin to close, 27.1 for the first 200 metres. Sum just staying out of trouble. Sharp is in second place. Bishop trying to get in position on the outside, and this looks a little too quick for Hassan at the moment, but it's a loaded field, this one. There's a long way to go, and incidentally, anyone who fancies a fastest loser spot in this race will have to run inside 1:59. The standard in these semi-finals has been fantastic.
Well, there's the bout, and it's very quick, 57.31. Eunice Sum is pushing hard, just on her outside, though. Lindsay Sharp also running well. Asamova is tucked in on the inside in third. Remember, just 2 to qualify at the moment. Sharp is running well. She's holding Sim at the moment. The defending world champion is holding the inside lane. She can do that. She can keep moving hard.
And look at Hassan trying to find a way through. She's in 5th at the moment. She moved wide, but she's not making inroads. She's desperately trying to close the gap. Sum leading from start to finish. Lindsay Sharp in second. Arzamaz over the European champion is poised on the outside, and Bishop trapped on the inside a little bit at the moment, as Hassan in 5th is desperately battling to get on the mix.
Well, Sum is really working hard out in front. She's looking over her shoulder, and it's going to be close. It's going to be very close indeed. Asamasova's coming through. Bishop is there. Sum is winding it up, but she's not going away. Bishop is closing. Asamasova is closing. They're going to go through the line together, and it's going to be a photo finish to separate those three. I think Asamasova may have just got it. We'll have to wait and see.
But the speed of that semi-final, 1:57.51. All three who went through the line together will go through, because one of them will get a fastest loser spot. But Sum, well, that may be, albeit a semi-final, that could end up being her first defeat in a very, very long time.
The women's hammer, Anita Wlodarczyk, is the world leader, and of course that magnificent world record which she set in Setniewo in Poland on the 1st of August, 81 meters 08, to add 1.5 meters to the world record, and she throws second in this lineup. Wang Zhang, the Asian record holder, throws third. Betty Heidler there, and also Zhang Wengshui, the Asian Games champion, throwing last of those 12 women who've qualified for this hammer final. Women's hammer. And then here is Wlodarczyk, 30 years of age, series of world records, and of course she was the champion. Now I rate the chances of this young lady very highly. This is 21-year-old Alexandra Tavernier, world junior champion 3 years ago. Zhang Wengshui. Well, this is her 7th final in 8 world championships. And now this is Alexandra Tavernier. Well, I do rate her chances. I think she's a really splendid up-and-coming talent. She showed that by doing 74.39 personal best in the qualifying round, adding a few centimeters to her best ever. So the European under-23 champion. Good control around the circle, lets it go. It's a big one. Yep, that too is getting close to 74 meters. They're getting close to the 74.40 we've already seen Flor Wlodarczyk. France have had some good hammer throws over the year, but this may well be the best of them. Yep, she likes that first throw. Goes into second place here. 74 meters 02 in the first round. And here is Wlodarczyk, big lead with 78 meters 52. Getting close to Tatiana Lysenko's championship record of 78.80. Oh, that's a terrific throw. It's over 80 meters. It's the second 80-meter throw in history. It's the first championship record here in Beijing to have been broken. And it's not surprisingly, it's Anita Wlodarczyk. And, well, she may yet challenge her world record as she improves with every throw here. Over 80 meters, maintaining perfect balance there in the circle. And let's just wait for the distance, but we've got those sector lines there. You've got the line at 80 metres. She smashed the championship record. We've had some wonderful competition here this year, but we haven't had any championship records until now. 80 metres, 27. And so too this young lady. Not quite so young now, I suppose, but anyway, Zhang Wenzhou, who's lying second at 75 metres 92. Both the Chinese throwers have thrown over 77 metres. Wang is in sixth, but this is Zhang in second. Oh, it looks another good one. Just inside the sector line, only just, almost hit that cage there. And they're all on their feet because they can see the distance. And it's improvement in second place for Zhang Wenzhou. Beautifully controlled series of throws there for this 4-kilogram hammer. Well, Wang's over 80 metres, but this is a fine demonstration of throwing. Second 75-metre throw of the competition for Zhang. There it is, 76.33, another season's best. So this is round 4. She's lying second, so we're throwing in reverse order of the standings. So we welcome back into the circle the world record holder, Anita Wlodarczyk. Well, of course, that 80.27 she threw would have been a world record, but for her throw in Setnievo at the beginning of the month. And there's $100,000 on offer if you can set a world record here, but she's made the target very difficult for herself by adding 1.5 meters just before the championships. So, fourth round effort. Now she's improved with every throw. 74.40, 78.52, 80 meters 27. How can she go in round 4? Already the one championship record of these championships here in Beijing. Anita Wlodarczyk, and undoubtedly one of the great stars of world athletics now. It's winging out its way again. It's a beyond 80 meters again. It's yet further, I think. That's another championship record and getting very, very close to her own new world record. Well, she'll get $60,000 for winning here, but if she can get just that little bit more in her last 2 throws, could be a massive payday. This is the best ever hammer throwing by a woman we've ever seen. 2 throws over 80 meters. And, she knows it. Let's just check on this distance then. Fantastic. And the Polish flag ready to celebrate the double hammer success for Poland. After Paweł Fajdek won the men's hammer by a big margin, so too Anita Wlodarczyk wins the women's hammer competition by a huge margin.
Some people say it's easy to come to major championships and deliver, but you have to do it when it counts. Anita Wlodarczyk, absolutely dominant, a super competition. Those throws over 80 meters. Zhang as well taking her flag and deserved with her silver medal, her season's best of 76.33. And the bronze going to France. There she is, a big smile from the French lady. 74.02 in the opening round. And what good throwing by the British athlete Sophie Hitchens of Great Britain.
Confirmation, gold to Wlodarczyk, 80.85, silver to Zhang, 76.33, and bronze to Tavernier, 74.02. 2 national records for Sophie Hitchens of Britain, with their best ever championship placing in a hammer competition at global level in 4th place. Well, now we come to the women's 400 metres final, and who better to take you through that than the Olympic bronze medalist, Catherine Merry.
Thank you, Peter Matthews. This is going to be fast, it's going to be competitive, and I genuinely don't know, like the rest of the athletic world, where the medals are going to go. There's your world record, your championship record, and the world lead, Francina Macaori of the USA, not through the US trials, nor was the world number 4, Sanya Richards-Ross. But these 8 athletes have a chance of gold. Lane number 2, Noveline Williams-Mills from Jamaica, the diamond race winner last year, a wild card. Hence, Jamaica have 4 athletes in this final. Bronze in Osaka in 2007 when Christina Ahuragu won her first gold. Lane number 3, Phyllis Francis of the United States, a US indoor record last year, 50.46 seconds, a 23-year-old, a personal best in the semi-final of 50.50 seconds to qualify. Lane number 4, Sharika Jackson of Jamaica, 50.03, a lifetime best to qualify, 21 years old, coached by Stephen Francis. A wonderful lane draw for Jackson, on the inside potentially of the big players. Lane 5, Shawnee Miller of the Bahamas, equal world number 4 this year, 49.92 seconds, also 21 years old, 4th in Moscow over 200 meters 2 years ago, 50.12 seconds to qualify. In lane number 6, Allyson Felix of the USA, 3 Olympic gold medals in London 2012, a winner of a record 8 World Championship golds. She has 3 over 200, a silver in this event back in Daegu in 2011, 49.89, a season's best to qualify. She's chosen the 400 over her favourite event of the 200 here. Lane number 7, she delivers when it matters. Christina Ahuragu of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, the defending world champion. Olympic gold here in Beijing, Olympic silver in London. And 2007 and 2013 world champion. Don't worry about what she's done before. She has a habit of getting it right when it matters. Lane number 8, Christine Day of Jamaica. 29 years old now, the Commonwealth Games bronze medalist last year in Glasgow, Scotland, when Jamaica completed a clean sweep, looking relaxed, looking happy. And completing the lineup, the 4th Jamaican in this final, Stephanie McPherson, 4th in Moscow behind Christina Ahuragu, 50.32 seconds, the Commonwealth Games champion. 4 Jamaicans, 2 Americans, and an athlete from the Bahamas, and the defending champion from Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Can Allyson Felix from the United States win gold in the 400 meters? The USA have won this twice. The final of the women's 400 meters, Williams-Mills, Francis, Jackson, Miller, Felix, Ahuragu, Day and McPherson. 2 finals left on the track. It's the speed merchants. They rise. And we're away for the first time of asking. We always keep an eye on Ahuragu. As predicted, Allyson Felix inside her. She's flying, is the American. That was expected. 21.98 seconds this year over 200 meters. Jackson for Jamaica going well in lane number 4. 200 meters, Christina Ahuragu now pulling back that deficit on Allyson Felix. Keep your eye on the Jamaican in lane number 4, Jackson. The work is done between 200 and 300 meters. Allyson Felix is kicking into the home straight. The American has a 3-4 meter lead. Felix leads. Here comes Shawnee Miller of the Bahamas. Christina Ahuragu, too much work to do. Felix heads for gold. Miller in silver, and the Jamaican Jackson will take bronze. That is 49.28 seconds. Allyson Felix from the USA.
Well, I've been waiting a long, long time to see Allyson Felix run a decent 400 meters. And really there, she showed what she could do. Absolutely beautiful. She absolutely powered that 150 meters, caught up Christina Ahuragu, and then she slowed. She slowed a little bit, realizing that she got off a little bit too fast. Ahuragu caught her up, and when Ahuragu caught her up, she started to push again. And that's what took her off the bend into the straight in the lead. Great, great run. I think she can still go faster if she just performs a little bit better in her judgment of pace. But nevertheless, the world champion.
Fantastic from Felix. At last, she has the global outdoor title at 400 meters that she's craved for so long. Really exciting for Shawnee Miller that she came through for the silver, 49.67 with a lifetime best And in terms of Ahuragu, I think trying to get back on terms with Felix ruined her coming into the last 100 metres. But all credit to the American. That was absolutely brilliant. And she's left everyone totally devoid of energy. Most of the competitors are still on the floor, on the track. They're absolutely wiped.
Lead for Alison Felix, world gold number 9, 49.26 seconds. The 21-year-old Shawnee Miller of the Bahamas, 49.67, and also 21, Sharika Jackson, 49.99 seconds, a lifetime best.
Now to this fascinating confrontation in the men's triple jump final. Well, Pedro Pablo Pichado is a man with his eye on that world record, but so too is Christian Taylor. Nelson Evora, former Olympic champion in this stadium, actually. Gold medalist in Osaka as well. Godfrey Mokoena has just gone through shot, and here he is. World Junior Champion in 2012, silver in Moscow, the third longest jumper in history. It's all rock and roll as far as Pichado's concerned. A big star, 17.43 in qualifying. How much more is there to come tonight? The Olympic champion, the world champion from Daegu, the fourth furthest jump in history, 18.06 in Lausanne. He's beaten Pichado this season. Can he beat him tonight? Exactly when it counts. And then the Olympic champion from Portugal, gold medal in this very stadium in 2008. Arguably slightly past his best, but he's still gone 17.24 this season. Nelson Evora, he was on the podium at one stage, courtesy of his 17.29. He won the Olympic title in this very stadium. He's certainly got the credentials for a big performance. So much experience. World champion in 2007. Still the pride of Portugal after what he did here 7 years ago. Oh, yes. Well, it's not going to be the lead, but Nelson Evora may well have just broken the heart of Omar Craddock. Rips off his name on the front of his vest. There are no more jumps to come from the Olympic champion from 2008. Craddock is clapping, and Evora may well have just produced one of the best jumps we've seen from him in many years. The Olympic champion in this stadium 7 years ago has taken Craddock's place on the podium. He's in third. What a time to deliver.
Here, but does this man like it the most? He has the lead, Rob. Will he soon become the world champion? His final attempt to potentially extend his lead.
Christian Taylor has one hand on the gold medal he won so brilliantly in Daegu the year before he went on to become the Olympic champion. He has gone over 18 meters this season. Pichado's under pressure. Taylor, one last chance to launch a massive one. Oh my goodness me, that is absolutely huge. He's been talking about an assault on the world record. I don't quite think it's far enough for 18.29 that Jonathan Edwards produced 20 years ago, but it's still a massive, massive, massive jump. That was absolutely immense from Christian Taylor. The Olympic champion has delivered on the promise earlier this season that one day, sometime soon, he would get close to Jonathan Edwards' world record. We're watching, we're waiting. 18.21, that is the second best jump in history, and surely that will be too much for Pichardo. Wow, cometh the hour, cometh the man. The Olympic champion has delivered something breathtaking here in the last round.
Hugs from his coach, Reina Rada. They're based in the Netherlands. That was outstanding. I'd love to know the words that are being spoken, but it will be, "You believed, my son, you believed." It was outstanding by Christian Taylor, but this man has the opportunity to deflate American hearts just one more time.
Well, Pichardo is one of the very best in history. He has gone over 18 meters before, and he must do again right now to turn World Championship silver into gold. This is a massive, massive ask, even for a man of his huge ability. A great effort, but not to be. Pichardo has to settle for silver tonight, just as he did 2 years ago in Moscow. And there can be no disgrace in losing to a jump of the enormity of that which we've just seen from Christian Taylor. 18 meters, 21 centimeters, by far and away the closest anyone has ever come to matching or beating that 20-year-old world record from Jonathan Edwards. Pichardo, no disgrace in second place, and he did save his best jump till last.
If you look at the gap that Christian Taylor left on the white takeoff board, if he'd have done it to perfection, potentially the world record would have gone, but it doesn't matter. It's another gold for America. 10 medals in this event, 5 of them gold. Now Harrison, Connolly, Davis, and now 2 times Christian Taylor becomes the world triple jump champion. He could do no more. Pichardo, 17 meters and 73. Even if he'd jumped further than he's jumped this year, he wouldn't have caught this man.
Well, and I think what's important is both men produced their best jumps in the last round. Now, I know Pichardo will be bitterly disappointed that he hasn't gone over 18 meters, but this is a duel that will run and run. Pichardo is so talented, this will burn him as he embarks on his winter program, and he will come out next season absolutely determined to wrestle the Olympic title out of the hands of Christian Taylor. Great sport is about great duels and great rivalry, and we've seen another installment in the battle between the Cuban and the American tonight. A wonderful competition.
Well, ultimately, the only one little tiny piece of consolation is that Christian Taylor had to jump 18.21 to beat him. It's a distance yet that Pichardo hasn't gone into, but it took a bit of time to get going, that men's triple jump final, didn't it, Rob? But once it did, absolutely outstanding. It didn't fail to disappoint in any shape or form.
And if you think about next season, if a certain Teddy Tamgo gets fit again, he too has gone over 18 meters, as he did when he took the gold in Moscow in such style, denying both these men 2 years ago. You bring Tamgo back into this mix, and then it gets even more interesting. But what a night for Christian Taylor. That's one of the performances of the championship so far. Well, it was a brilliant competition. 3 worthy men on the podium. The reigning Olympic champion, Christian Taylor. Christian Taylor, with the second biggest jump in history, is once again the world champion. Pichardo has to settle for second, and Nelson Evora picks up the bronze in the same stadium that saw him become Olympic champion in 2008. The last event of the evening, the men's 200 meters, and you can hear the crowd responding.
It's a combination of everything for me. Usain Bolt arrived in these championships outside of a season opener of a 400, had run 3 100-meter races and 3 200-meter races. He's now condensed the exact same amount of races into one championship. Is he fatigued? We will see. Can Justin Gatlin not fold like a deck chair in the last 10, 15 meters and potentially hold on a lead that he may have? We don't know, and that is why it's exciting.
Alonso Edward, Pan American bronze. He's right back to form, and he's more than capable of going sub-20 and might need to once again be amongst the mix for the medals. Nikhil Ashmead, 4th in Moscow, and 5th in Daegu. He's not quite in that kind of form, but we can't rule him out. What a season it's been for the South African in 7, Anaso Jobodwana. A national record, 20.01. Fantastic performance in qualification from the South African. Is this the night he goes under 20 seconds? And then the enigmatic, charismatic superstar of athletics. He's won every global 200-meter title since 2008. Usain Bolt is the man to beat tonight. Can he deliver once again, just as he did in the 100 meters? Even our pulses are quickening in the commentary box. Such is the excitement and the magnitude of this evening's climactic race. Zarnell Hughes, a training partner of Usain Bolt, 20.05 in the London Diamond League into a massive headwind. He's promised a sub-20. Will it come this evening? The fastest man in the world this year over this distance. Will he hold his nerve and get some kind of revenge after folding in the last 10 meters of the 100? Massive, massive night for Justin Gatlin. Arguably one of the biggest races of his life. Ramil Guliev of Turkey, 20.01, a national record in the first round. 7th in Berlin. He's in cracking form, but he needs to be. And on the inside, Femi Ogunode of Qatar, a really quick starter. He too producing a national record and a lifetime best to qualify for this final. 9.91 this season over the 100 meters. Bolt in 6. Who will hold their nerve on one of the sport's biggest stages? The final of the men's 200 meters. Gatlin gets a good start. He's already up on Zarnell Hughes, but Bolt's got out well. And watch out for Edward on the outside. But Usain Bolt is up. He has a lead over Gatlin. Can the American come back? He's starting to close the gap. Justin Gatlin is trying to close, but Bolt's already smiling. Dare we ever doubt him? 19.56. Usain Bolt is just unstoppable when it comes to the 200 meters. Gatlin is applauding. He did well. He started to close with 70 to go, but it wasn't enough. And what a brilliant, brilliant bronze, I think, for Anaso Jobodwana, the South African. That's your 1, 2, 3. Did we ever dare doubt he would produce yet another double, rounded down to 19.55. He hasn't run that quickly for more than 2 years, but he always saves his best for the right occasion. The crowd are on their feet. It's a standing ovation once again for the greatest sprinter we've ever seen. And try as he might, Justin Gatlin just cannot beat this charismatic Jamaican.
It was a super race, wasn't it? Bolt, Gatlin, and as you mentioned, the national record for Jobodwana from South Africa. They'll be going crazy there tonight. And in the end, guys, 4 men went sub 20 seconds. But Gatlin smiled. It just wasn't his night tonight, but a 19.74 clocking for a man that's been so consistent this season.
He got a great start, Gatlin. He got a great bend. He came off the bend well, but the man was still 2 metres in front of him. What do you do to go past a guy like that? It's almost impossible. At that stage, with about 90 metres to go, Gatlin knew he was in second place and he was going to stay there.
And that's what he had to do, wasn't it? It would have been on his mind, the fact that he did lose his concentration of form in the 100. He was clearly desperate to just keep his form and not be passed for the silver medal. And he held on by, what, 0.13 of a second from the fast-finishing South African. Good race, though, to end what's been another wonderful evening. But the man, look at the Jamaican fans there in the crowd. Sold out tonight because of the big man and, of course, because it's the World Championships. He's outstanding. We run out of expressions to use for him, don't we?
There are no more superlatives with which you can describe Usain Bolt's talent. You could argue that the 100 metres was one of his finest victories, bearing in mind the season he'd had and the injury problems that had beset him. But whatever's happened before, he tells us in advance of these major championships that he comes and produces his best. And there's a look of respect between the two men there. Gatlin running 19.74. There was no disgrace in that second place. He ran a really, really good race. The bottom line is he just isn't quite good enough to beat Usain Bolt.
And look at the difference. Usain Bolt, those 6 individual races outside of that 400, he's absolutely shattered. Justin Gatlin, of course, a little bit fitter because he's been consistent to racing all season. And with the relay to come, that's exciting. And you saw a quick glimpse there of the bronze medal winner, 19.87 seconds for Jobodwana. That's absolutely outstanding, dipping under 20 seconds for the first time.
The fastest time in the world this year. Did we ever dare doubt him? Gatlin the silver and Jobodwana the bronze, and a national record by 2/1000ths of a second.